facilitator for our role plays.
I'm Sarah, and I'll be one of the participants in the role play.
I'm Amanda. I'll be one of the participants in the role play.
I'm Riley. Ours is like a therapy group, so we're 3 group members.
Yes.
Okay, so first we wanted to define conflict and conflict resolution. So basically, a conflict is a disagreement or a struggle between a certain number of people, and they're struggling to come to a conclusion together. And then for conflict resolution.
And conflict resolution is basically a way for individuals to peacefully solve the disagreement.
Okay, that's fine. We came up with so we were taking classes here, students got together and came up with their own support group for MSW students. And so we have a conflict within that. Hi guys. Okay, so before we start, I just wanted to remind everybody of our group rules. But we've been meeting together for a while now, so I'm pretty sure everybody has a good understanding of what these are. And also remembering about confidentiality and how everything stays in the group and we're not taking it outside. Okay?
Amanda, I noticed the last time you just left the group, just got up and left, and you didn't even say goodbye or say why. So I'm just wondering what happened there.
It's not a big deal.
Well, obviously it's a big deal because you just got up and left and didn't say anything.
I just feel like we're supposed to be open in this group, and if you're not telling us or talking to us about why you left, then I just feel like if you're mad about something, then you should just say it.
It doesn't even matter. She doesn't want to talk about it, so let's just not talk about it.
That's why.
Okay, so guys, I'm feeling a lot of tension within you guys, so I'm going to stop us, and before we do anything with our group today, I'm going to try to do an activity, okay? So first, the activity is called Talking Papers, and everybody is going to take a few of these note cards, or post-it notes, and I want you to write down ideas on this topic.
Can we all take the same color one so she doesn't know who we're left?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So the topic I have for you guys is what do you think this group needs for members to feel supported by one another? So we want our group to run smoothly. So come up with different things on what you feel like our group needs. When you guys are done, I'll collect them for you. On the other side. And so these are all confidential. I'm going to mix them up when I put them on the board, so that way we don't really know who wrote what. And we're going to come up with certain categories and find some similarities between what everybody thinks and how we all agree on the situation. Okay. First one here, it says, not being put on the spot. We have self-care. And I actually do the same thing. Okay. So not being put on the spot, self-care promotion, respect, encouragement, positivity, not interrupting, everyone to contribute, respect, listening, following group rules, one person talks at a time, respect, honesty, everyone must participate, and better leadership. Okay. So now let's try to put these all together. Does anybody see some similarities in what everybody wrote? Respect. So there's two of those. Is everybody okay if I put those together?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How about respect? How about anything else? What do we see?
Positivity was there a couple of times.
Okay. So positivity. So encouragement, positivity.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Any others?
Participation.
Participation. That's right. So we have everyone to contribute, and then everyone must participate. Does anybody think that one person talks at a time should go with that? So along with participation and how we participate together?
Mhm.
No interrupting.
Okay. Good. So, what we have left are honesty, listening, following group rules, and better leadership. Do we see any similarities with those?
Honesty could go with respect, because it's honesty is part of respect, I guess.
Do you two agree with that? Okay. Could listening go with our participation?
Mm-hmm.
Following group rules.
With like the interrupting.
Okay. And better leadership. We can leave that on its own as well.
Okay.
Okay? Awesome. So does everybody kind of see how we all kind of came up with different ideas around how our group should run together?
Yeah, but they're still kind of similar, so we can put them together.
Awesome. See.
Yeah, that was our first. So obviously we did talking papers, and talking papers is just a way to, it's a conflict resolution that allows everyone to participate. People can participate anonymously, so if there's tension like we have in our group where one member feels as though they're not being heard or someone feels like as though they're being disrespected, they can talk anonymously. And it can be used in many different situations, not just to resolve a conflict. It can be used in like an ice-breaking situation. It can be used just to facilitate a discussion about something. And again, it allows everyone, it creates a visual, allows people to participate freely, and it's an open discussion. And there are 3 essential parts to the talking papers. It's the content, so what's being discussed, the process, which is how it's being discussed within the group, and the feeling and the atmosphere of the group. And all of these things kind of dictate how the talking paper activities go within the group. And there's not necessarily a right or wrong. It just depends on the group and their feeling and the way they feel in the moment.
This is just a reminder of what everybody came up with, and this will kind of help with our discussion.
So we want to just briefly talk about our talking papers and kind of get your opinion as a group. I'll stand up because I feel like I'm only looking at half of you. So what do you guys think worked well with the talking papers activity?
I think it created new group norms from your original sign for the group rules. I think it created a more harmony of group norms that, pertains to being heard and listening and one person talking at one time.
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody else for that question? Is there anything you guys think that didn't work? Please feel free to be honest if you think there was something that didn't work or could have been done differently.
Or is that an intervention you would have used?
Yeah, if it wasn't something you used.
I was just curious what the tension was about. I kept thinking about that.
Oh,
Like, what was the actual tension?
I'm sorry, we addressed it in the beginning, maybe it wasn't clear enough. Amanda walked out last session, and we don't know why, and that's part of the problem,
Oh, okay.
is that he
That's-
just left.
So this is like, the kind of like context is like Amanda's more soft-spoken, and doesn't participate as much, and this is like a group that's been ongoing, so this is like the 5th session by now. So we're kind of in like that storming stage. So she's like not participating as much, she just left last time and we don't know why. And then we're both more like outgoing, like more like wanting participation, wanting everybody to be involved, like wanting everybody to be like fully invested.
And is there anything you guys that have maybe thought like would have been a better topic, knowing what's going on in the group, or is there something you thought would have worked better? We also, and like if you could go back to the other one, I just am curious if we obviously put them into our own groups in our discussion, but is there any different way you guys would have grouped them, or thought they went differently together than what we have? These are what we wrote over there, up bigger so you guys can see it.
I think they're grouped pretty good.
I will say that I like how you put respect in each one, since everyone said it. I like how you put it in different groups because it falls with everything basically, rather than putting them together.
Right.
Thank you. We tried to do that.
We tried to purposely.
We were like, they're still connected, and we're still all social workers in a group, so.
It's good.
So we picked this talking papers for a reason, and specifically in this group, especially with one of the participants in the group being more soft-spoken than everyone else, we want everyone to be heard and everyone to feel as though they were valued and respected. It did create that open discussion, like we talked about before, and we all kind of, whatever was going on between us, the tension, the frustration was put aside to complete this, and did allow everyone to talk anonymously. So it worked really well for our situation and what was going on in our group.
And now, in this second role play part, we're kind of backtracking, and I'm going to use a different technique to solve the conflict that initially happened. Okay, guys. So I'm going to try something with you all, and everybody feel free to participate or not to participate. Whoever feels like they may want to is open to. So what I'm going to do is it's called nonviolent communication. And since I'm feeling there's a lot of tension here, this will help you guys kind of explain how you're feeling, what you need from this group, and do it in a way that's respectful of each other, and we're not using those nasty words, okay? So the model I have up here is when I see that blank, I feel blank because my need for blank is or is not being met. Would you be willing to blank or do this? Okay?
Mhm.
Would anybody be open to trying it first?
I'll go. When I see someone leave the group without explaining why, I feel rejected because my need for stability is not being met. Next time, would you be willing to explain why you're leaving?
Okay, Riley, that's a good start. But the word rejected is kind of a harsh word, and it's kind of placing an assumption that the person is trying to do that action. They're trying to reject you.
Mm-hmm.
Could you maybe come up with a different word for how you feel?
I feel disappointed.
That would be good. Okay. Amanda,
I hear what you're saying, but I don't really feel comfortable doing that.
Okay. I hear that you don't feel comfortable doing that. Would you mind explaining why?
When I am asked to share things that I don't want to share, I feel reluctant because my need for boundaries is not being met. Would it be alright if I acknowledge that I am leaving next time before I leave?
Okay. So I understand that you have a need for boundaries that isn't being met. And you would still like to maintain a bit of privacy. So next time, instead of explaining why, would you mind at least just saying goodbye? Acknowledging. Okay.
That was good, guys. And you both really focused on listening to each other, and even though she wasn't wanting to do what you initially asked, she kind of met your need in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
You know, this is the definition of nonviolent communication. I liked in the little like summary of Dr. Rosenberg's seminar how they summed up nonviolence in itself, and it's just saying like it doesn't refer to a mere absence of physical harm, which I think that's kind of like what I first thought when I first heard it, and somebody addressed that, and I think Dominique said that in the first group. So, you know, I like how it stresses like a more complete and happy way of being. It's coming from a place of love and like trying to have a mutual understanding and actually listen to the other person. And everyone's already mentioned before that this definition about it being a language of life and how difficult it can be to completely readjust the way that you have been trained to talk and communicate and express your feelings and to do it in a more positive way. It just seems unnatural at first, but you know, it's something that would help us improve all of our relationships, both personally and professionally. We just thought that was kind of the yeah. So we just kind of put up some of the different words like that they, you know, he listed in the article about you know, the ones that we're able to use, the ones that are more feelings words as opposed to diagnosis words. We just kind of use this general model with the 4 with observations, feelings, needs, and requests. So again, we wanted to know what you guys thought worked well with this, if this was something that you would have used in this instance, knowing a little bit more about the situation now and what the conflict was, you know, what worked, what didn't work, any thoughts about it?
I think they both worked. Now that I saw the second scenario and became more open to what was going on, the first one relieved the tension without knowing exactly what the problem was, which wasn't really necessary anymore because it created that unity and harmony with the group. And the second one presented what was going on and needs and feelings and emotions and everything was met, so.
Thanks.
In the last meeting, I feel like you guys incorporated common grounds as well, which I really liked because it made for a good conversation. So I thought that was pretty cool that all 3 were kind of tied in, whether you guys meant to put that in there or not. But
Well, it's funny because so originally, like when we were first learning about them, we were like, oh, we definitely wanted to do common grounds, but then when we thought about it, this was kind of like a 2-on-1 scenario, and that was when Sarah asked that question in class, like, what do you do when you have like 2 people and then 1 person on the other side, and we felt like that would have been a little too aggressive, especially knowing that Amanda would be like the more timid group member. So we wanted to like practice those skills, especially since we're supposed to be social workers doing this, and repeat back to each other what we're hearing each other say, but without it being like Sarah and Riley versus Amanda or something like that. So,
That was good.
yeah.
Yeah, I think you guys did a really nice job. I like how you used the talking papers. I think it sort of helped put this expectation out in the group and got you all thinking along the same lines. And it was a nice way of kind of putting out what your needs are or were in the moment that she was kind of disrespecting them, you know, and without it directly saying, I felt disrespected when you left, kind of thing, you know what I
Right,
mean? So it's kind of a nice way of saying, like, I really felt like you kind of violated our rules when you walked
Yeah.
out, so I kind of like that. And then, you know, obviously the combination of the nonviolent communication and kind of the listening and reflective listening was really, really, really good. How did you feel, like, so my reaction when she's like, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
It was like,
That's why
oh.
we were like, can
You
we
know,
have
that
her
was-
say no?
yeah.
And that's why I was like, and even like hearing her say it for a second, I was like, okay. And you have to kind of like regroup for
Right,
a second and think
yeah.
about, well, like, what can I ask now? Like you have to be kind of testing
Bless
the
you.
Bless
boundaries
you.
a little bit. So
Yeah.
even like I knew she was gonna say that, I was like, okay. Anyway, now I'm like, no, let's move on.
Initially, we were like it was kind of going really smoothly, and we're just like, would you really say yes to being like, I'm going to give you an explanation
Yeah, like
when I
Yeah.
leave? And we're just like, maybe we change that and have her actually say, no, I'm not going to do that.
I think that's good though, because I think that helps you kind of think, because my first thought was like, wow, like I'm even reacting to her saying no because of the way, you know, you said it so nicely and she said no. And, you know, then you start to think, well, okay, so was it a demand, right? So if I'm responding that way and I'm upset about the fact that they're not going to do what I'm asking them to do, you know, can I go back and request it in a different way, or do I feel angry and so then I know it was a demand and now I'm going to be resentful and hurt by that. So just kind of keeping that in mind, like your reaction helps you really understand that, but then going back and saying, you know, I kind of, when you respond that way, I feel sad and I feel hurt because I feel that we've created this group and my need to feel like we're a group community isn't being met. You know, I understand you want your privacy. Could you, you know, and I think you did that really well, but I think that's what's happening. And that tends to be what happens when we use nonviolent communication, right? Is that people are going to say no. Not everybody's going to meet your request. And we have to figure out, like, are we okay with just the no? Or do we need to find a way to reword it, to reword the request for something they might be able to meet? So, nice job. Nice job, guys.
yeah.
Oh,
we kind of already talked about it.
Yeah.
That was what I kind of went into before, was just like why we chose the strategy. And yeah, that's basically what I
What
already
we
said.
just discussed.
Yeah.
It's just not going forward.
Yeah.
Any questions or feedback, we just kind of talk about
We
it.
already did that.
And then these are our references.
Nice work. Nice job. Okay.